is your Tuesday, September 18 edition of Info Hub. We begin with news that Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister Keith Rowley and a 5-member team are due in Guyana for a 2-day state visit tomorrow. The high-level team will hold bilateral talks on matters of interest, including energy sector cooperation, agriculture and security. An MOU will also be signed on the energy sector cooperation between Guyana and Trinidad and Tobago. Also, in presidential news, President David Granger has conferred on Commissioner of Police Leslie James and Inspector General of the Ghana Defense Force Colonel Trevor Bowman the Disciplined Services Star, DSS, and the Military Service Medal, respectively. These conferrals followed consultations between the head of state and the chairman and members of the Advisory Council of the Orders of Guyana. In this next report, we hear that Rupununi village leaders are urged to be aware of Venezuelan migrants entering Guyana through Brazil. While visiting Region 9 at the weekend, President David Granger urged leaders to be attentive and ensure Venezuelans entering Guyana are legally settled.
The head of state reminded that thousands of Venezuelans are fleeing to other countries to escape economic turmoil in their own country. He noted the possibility for spillover into Guyana from the border shared with Brazil and urged indigenous leaders to be vigilant.
We're not chasing anyone, but at the same time, we want to make sure that any settlement is done in an orderly and legitimate manner.
A number of Venezuelans have already been settled in Regions 1 and 7. The president said attentiveness is needed to ensure Venezuelans entering Guyana do not pose any health or security risks.
So we have to be very cautious. So as we move forward, we mustn't make the mistake of ignoring some of the threats to our national security as well. I'm concerned about the safety of our citizens, and if there's any threat, we need to respond very quickly.
A multi-agency task force has been established to ensure the legal settlement of Venezuelan migrants in Guyana. The Guyana Civil Defense Commission has also been providing food and other relief supplies to assist them. Reporting for InfoHub, Crystal Stahl.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs is engaging the Guyanese diaspora and addressing issues affecting them in accordance with the recommendations by the International Organization for Migration, IOM. Here is Stacey Carmichael with that report.
Minister Greenidge referenced recommendations submitted to government by the International Organization on Migration, IOM, which pointed to initiatives that can be pursued which will be advantageous to the diaspora. Among the recommendations was the need for more collaboration among ministries and agencies and frequent meetings to address matters in the diaspora.
We organized, as part of that arrangement, for example, diaspora conference to look at the question of remittances, which is one of the major areas in which there are flows from the diaspora to the home country, and in which perhaps enough institutional arrangements aren't in place to ensure that remittances are moved without perhaps unnecessary diversion of the income by way of high interest rates, excessive fees, administrative fees for moving these things.
The minister said another report was presented by the IOM following a second bout of diaspora consultations in Canada and Florida and New York, USA.
That round enabled them to modify their report, and that modified report has been, I think, sent to Cabinet. It is with the Cabinet. There is nothing at this point in time that the Cabinet needs from us to enable it to conclude its deliberations on the matter.
Minister Greenidge reminded that the greatest interface with the government and the diaspora occurs at the consular level. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs continues to assist Guyanese in respective countries in relation to documentation and other difficulties they encounter. During the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting hosted in London earlier this year, Minister Greenidge was part of a team of ministers who participated in a meeting related to the problems with the Windrush generation. This is the diaspora that migrated to the United Kingdom prior to 1973, some of whom arrived there as British citizens and some as dependents of British citizens, and having lived there for over 40 years found themselves stateless for various odd reasons. For InfoHub, Stacey Carmichael.
Mommy, You can't smoke in the room, you can get the baby sick.
She can't get sick. I lock up in this room. She's over there.
Mommy, you never heard about third-hand smoking? That is when the smoke gets into the fabric, like the chair and upholstery, and it still affects people that comes in the room.
First it was second-hand smoke, now it's third-hand smoke.
Mommy, you know I love you, and I want to see you quit. I don't want baby to have developmental problems like asthma and lung disease.
Let's all work together to prevent cigarette smoking-related illnesses.
Welcome back. Marijuana use is still illegal and attracts penalties. Public Security Minister Kemraj Ramjatan cleared the air on this burning issue. Paul McAdam has more.
Marijuana usage locally is still illegal. Minister Kemraj Ramjatan reminded on the sidelines of an annual Customs Anti-Narcotic Unit training course yesterday.
What we are trying, however, now is to remove for small amounts, and especially for young people, that jail sentence, custodial penalties. You certainly will be fined, you certainly will be given a community sentence, but you will, for small amounts of marijuana and drugs, you will not get a jail sentence. And yes, that is I think Mr. Carrington had brought that up, and yeah, we are supporting it.
The Public Security Minister reminded that this initiative was also supported by President David Granger. He added that the government has taken on board issues raised by the Caribbean community about marijuana usage.
We're awaiting the CARICOM recommendations, set of recommendations, and also, well, that has now come out. And also, CARICOM is doing another public health, the implications on the health sector for smoking marijuana, even if it's going to be legalized. But I don't think we need all of that, because as a government, I believe that we would still, at this stage, not want to decriminalize marijuana smoking. We want it to be a criminal offense, but not necessarily with this big penalty of being jailed for small amounts.
The minister said that incarcerating persons, especially youths, for small amounts of marijuana is not practical.
You have to spend so much more money on the prisoners. A fellow with 5 grams or whatever goes and get 3 years jail. It's 3 years we have to feed him in a prison and things like that. But moreover, the prison also, that from the reports of the Patterson reports after the fire, proved that when these small players go into prison, they graduate into bigger criminals. They get a BSc and the MSc in crime. So we have to stop that. And that is one of the things that we support.
Information from the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit, CANU, shows that so far for the year, more than 650 kilograms of marijuana have been seized. Paul McAdam for InfoHub.
There will be no reprisals for giving evidence to the Commission of Inquiry into City Hall. Get the details in this report.
Deputy Chairman of the Local Government Commission, Andrew Garnett, gave this assurance to prospective complainants to the Commission of Inquiry, to be headed by retired Justice Cecil Kennard.
The Local Government Commission is responsible for regulation and staffing of all local government organs, which is inclusive of the mayor and councillors of the city of Georgetown. Workers have complained, their unions have complained. They're under the protection of their union, and they're under the protection of the Local Government Commission. There can be no reprisals, there can be no acts of victimization in terms of a worker who exercises their right to complain about working conditions or deprivation of benefits.
The Commission of Inquiry is set to receive evidence at the Critchlow Labour College, Wolford Avenue, until September 21. A report of its findings is expected by the end of October.
Legal Clerk Secretary at the Critchlow Labour College, he has assumed duties there on yesterday, the 17th, and will be there all week from 8:30 to 4:30, and he will be taking statements and doing the necessary supportive activities in preparation for commencement of the inquiry per se on the 24th of September.
Garnett, who represents Labour on the Local Government Commission, said that the intention to inquire into the operations of the Mayor and the City Council was made known since April of 2018. However, several matters of logistics caused a delay. The Local Government Commission was sworn into office on October 23, 2017 by President David Granger. Retired Justice Cecil Kennard was today sworn in by Chief Magistrate Anne McLennan as the chairman and sole commissioner to conduct an inquiry into the city government's operation. Reporting for InfoHub, Alexis Rodney.
Residents of Waller's Delight are now free from saltwater intrusion with the completion of more than 800 meters of riprap sea defense there.
The project, which commenced in November 2017, was completed in 3 phases. Ministry of Public Infrastructure's project coordinator Dennis Ramsing said the works were necessary due to the rapid degradation of the mangrove trees over the years.
Had government not taken the intervention or initiative to come and construct the riprap sea defenses, then there would have been a lot of damages along the embankment. There would have been breach of the embankment, which would have resulted in inundation to immediate residential and agricultural lands, which would have been more severe. But because we were monitoring the area over some time, we had seen the need to take this intervention early so that we could have prevented a disaster from happening.
The riprap structure consists of toe, slope, crest, and embankment to support the riprap structure. Ramsing pointed out that similar works were also completed at Windsor Forest.
Works were identified for this year because, one, we had H concrete sea defenses, which also had low crest elevation, which contributed to severe overtopping during peak spring tide period. The ministry took the initiative to replace that H concrete structure with riprap sea defenses.
The project's coordinator pointed out that these riprap structures, built of rock or other material used to protect shorelines, require less maintenance and are flexible structures. Most of the materials for the riprap's construction is also available locally. Renetta LaFleur for InfoHub.
A local doctor, Tameshwar Algu, is making headway with his extensive research on hernia procedures. His work has been published in the Caribbean medical journals. Paul joins us again with that report.
Dr. Tameshwar Algu has conducted extensive research on inguinal hernia repairs and is published in several Caribbean medical journals. He told InfoHub why he thought it necessary to put together his document.
So no practicing doctor in this day and age should be practicing without evidence-based medicine. We shouldn't just be taking studies done in the first world and other countries as the holy grail. We have lots of pathologies right here. You have lots of disease processes, which we manage pretty well, and sometimes we don't think that it should be published. And in actuality, they're pretty good papers that we can write on, and they're publishable material.
The surgeon was singled out after he made a brief presentation to the Minister of Public Health, Valda Lawrence, recently. She has since committed to ensuring that funding for research is catered for in Public Health's 2019 budget. The doctor noted that it is important for research as it is a vital part of any doctor's practice.
There are lots of benefits doing research. I know it's a lot of work. There are lots of benefits. You get an idea of your practice. What are the outcomes of your procedure? What are the outcomes for the patient? What is the quality of lifestyle for the patient 1 or 2 years after? What is going on with your patient afterwards? And you actually get to analyze, when you started, for example, we started a lab coli in 2016. I mean, if we were to do a follow-up paper now, it'll give us an idea, have we improved in the last 2 years?
Inguinal hernia repair is a surgical procedure to repair a hernia in one's groin. Based on research conducted by him, it was found that the alternative procedure of suture repairs had no reoccurrence compared to the usual mesh repairs. Within a 2-year period, the New Amsterdam Hospital has completed 102 inguinal hernia repairs with only 1 reoccurrence. Paul McAdam for InfoHub.
And finally, still in health, as we observe Breastfeeding Week, the following report highlights the importance and benefits of breastfeeding. Here's Alexis Rodney.
Exclusively breastfeeding a baby for the first 6 months of life has long-lasting benefits that can contribute to Guyana's overall development. According to GPHC CEO, the more support given to the Breastfeeding Awareness Initiative, the more mothers and their families will understand why it must be done.
I think we need to change our culture, we need to change our thinking, and we need to understand that whenever a woman breastfeeds, regardless if it's outside of her home, at the clinic, or so on, she's providing an important function for both the baby, herself, and the nation as a whole.
Chief Nursing Officer of the Ministry of Public Health, Linda Johnson, said that breastfeeding exclusively for the first 6 months can be the difference between a child's life and death and serve as a first vaccine against diseases.
It deposits to the child antibodies that can protect that child from diarrheal disease and pneumonia, which are the two leading causes of morbidity and mortality, namely illness and death among young children.
National Breastfeeding Week is being observed in Ghana from September 16 through 22nd under the theme Breastfeeding, Foundation of Life. For InfoHub, Alexis Rodney.
Remember to follow us on social media and our website at dpi.gov.gy. We leave you with the bridge and weather reports. Goodbye.